So Bilt refreshed and just launched 3 brand new Bilt cards. When I saw the information come out on launch day and I saw that mortgages were there, I thought, finally. However, many more current card users saw all the updates to the earnings and thought, what in the actual? And rightfully so. The changes are complicated, and the backlash was so hard and so swift that within a couple days, Bilt had to come out with a much more simplified version of their earnings. Now, the card's been out for a couple weeks, and in today's video, I want to deep dive into the brand new Bilt 2.0 card to figure out what is making it so complicated, whether these new changes to the earnings help simplify it, and most importantly, we're gonna find out, is the Bilt 2.0 card something you should be getting, or if you are somebody who should be avoiding this card at all costs. So what's happening at Bilt? So they launched the Bilt Blue, Obsidian, and Palladium. $0, $95, and $495 a year cards. And for the first time ever, these cards give us the opportunity to do something we've never been able to do before, and that is earn points for paying our mortgage. In addition, there is no cap on the number of points that you can earn, and you can have a mix of mortgages and rentals on any of the cards. Okay. So then why are people so upset? I'm sure there's a ton of reasons, but one of the main ones is that the mechanism for earning points from rent got very complicated very fast. And overnight, just like that, current Bilt card members lost a way to easily get a few thousand points from paying rent every single month without having to do too much. But with the new Bilt cards, it's either take 75% of your mortgage and or rent spend and spend it as normal spend.
But it's not really 75% of housing spend as non-housing spend. Instead, what you do is you have to earn Bilt cash at a rate of 4% Bilt cash on every single Bilt card. Then once you have your Bilt cash, you can convert that into Bilt points. The Bilt points are the ones you specifically earn from your mortgage and rent spend at a ratio of $3 Bilt cash to 100 Bilt points. But it's a ratio, so it's not a minimum. So if you have some, you get some. If you don't get any.
Either you do that, or you spend up to 100% of your housing spend as non-housing spend, and then you'll be able to get up to 1.25x of the points deposited into your account. Complicated, right? And to boil all of that down simply, the problem that current card members are going to have is they will now have to spend money using the Bilt card. And for many of them, they're gonna have to use their new Bilt card as their main credit card to be able to unlock all of the points that they once used to earn from rent, whereas before though, all they needed to do was swipe the card 5 times and never touch the card again. What? All right, give me an example. Let's walk through 3 examples. First, we're gonna assume every single person has a monthly rent of $1,000, and so the points that we're going to unlock is 1,000 Bilt points. With Bilt 1.0, to unlock all of the points from rent and have it sent to your account, you must swipe the card 5 times. Could be as simple as buying 5 single bananas over 5 separate transactions. Once you do that, in a month, all those points sent to you. You swipe the card 0 times, 0 points. Swipe it 3 times, 0 points. Bilt 2.0, there are actually 2 options to earn points for rent and mortgage. Option 1, to have all of the points from rent unlocked and sent to your account, you must spend 75% of your housing expense as non-housing. To unlock all of the points and have it sent to your account, you have to spend up to $750 outside of rent. If you spend $0, no points. If you spend $750, 1,000 points. And if you spend $1,000, you'll get 1,250 points. Bilt 2.0, the option 2. To unlock all of the rent points and have them sent to your account, you must spend up to $750 outside of rent. Spending $750 earns you $30 Bilt cash, and $30 Bilt cash can be exchanged for 1,000 Bilt points earned from rent. If you spend $0, 0 points. If you spend $325, you'll get 500 Bilt points. Damn. Okay, those examples just made my head hurt even more. Why are they doing these changes? Honestly, and this is my best guess, it's because they weren't making money off of people who were just buying 5 single bananas and receiving thousands of points from paying rent every single month. In fact, Wells Fargo famously or infamously was losing millions of dollars on the Bilt portfolio. Part of that I've read is because people were not holding a credit card balance and so they weren't getting charged interest, which by the way, I love and never change that behavior, all right? Credit cards, pay on time and in full. But the other side of it was Wells Fargo and Bilt were definitely subsidizing people's points on rent at a loss. because people weren't using the cards for anything else other than rent in the 5 spend minimum. And remember folks, one of the ways credit cards make money is through transaction fees at the merchant level, etc. And so with the 2.0 cards, they have to find a way to make this product more economically sustainable for the company, hence requiring people to have to engage and spend on the cards to be able to have the points from rent and mortgage deposited and unlocked and sent into their account. So who loses here? So a few groups lose out. The first group, and unfortunately this group is probably the biggest group of losers in all of this, is gonna be the Bilt 1.0 card holder who got the Bilt card, they swiped it 5 times every single month, they collected their points on rent, and they never used the card for anything outside of rent, never put any additional spend on it. The second group that loses out here are gonna be current Bilt 1.0 card members who are unable to go and hit the maximum amount of spend to get the maximum amount of points. They'll still get partial points for some of their spend, but it's not gonna be as easy as it was before for them. In the third group, this group, you may or may not have heard of the term churning, but these are groups of people who are always going after credit card bonuses, and to get those credit card bonuses, they must put spend by nature and definition on non-Bilt cards. So they're gonna have a very difficult time with the new Bilt cards. So who wins? So a couple groups definitely make out here. The first one, anyone with a mortgage, this is the biggest W, because now you have an opportunity to turn your single largest monthly expense into points. Whereas before the launch of this card, there was 0% opportunity for that. And the biggest winner within the group that has mortgages are definitely gonna be real estate investors, people who have multiple properties. In fact, maybe even parents who have their mortgage and they have to pay for their kids' rent, wherever that may be. Another group that wins is anyone who spends money outside of their mortgage or rent on a credit card. Because if you put any amount of spend on it, then you unlock the potential to earn some amount of points. Now, in the group within here that probably wins the most are gonna be for high earners and high spenders. In fact, I saw this post on the Fat Fire subreddit. For those of you who are not aware, FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And fat buyers specifically are people who are looking to do that with anywhere between 5 to 10 million plus in their brokerage accounts. And this person posted about the Bilt card. And it was very counter to, I think, the general consensus on the internet, which is this is pretty bad. This person actually said, wait, this is actually too good to be true. Is this right? And you look at it and they're saying they can earn over 600,000 Bilt points. Well, that's because their spend is so high. And certainly this group is gonna stand to benefit the most. And the third group of winners here are gonna be Bilt and cardless. They are bringing on board more profitable customers. Now, what are you gonna do? Me personally, I'm getting the Bilt 2.0, specifically the Bilt Palladium to pay for mortgages and earn Bilt points. Oh, so you're gonna have to spend a lot of money, huh? Yeah, I guess. Right now my mortgage is a little over $3,000. So that means I have to spend up to $2,000 outside of that on my Bilt account to get the points. Yikes. And what if you don't hit it? The best way to describe it is that this is a sliding scale earnings chart. And so if I only spent $1,000 outside of mortgage, I would only get 1,500 points. If I spent $0 outside of mortgage, then I get shafted and I get 0 points. Pause. Weren't you always just getting 0 points for mortgages? Yes. Okay. So what do I do? That's gonna be personal. The question to ask is, do you have a mortgage or rent? Yes. And do you want a chance to earn any points from your mortgage and rent? I mean, duh, of course I do, but I hate this new Bilt math that you explained. It's just so complicated. I had the Bilt 1.0 card. I swiped it 5 times and I got my points. I feel like I'm totally getting screwed over with this update. Honestly, I'm with you, and yeah, you are. Any Bilt 1.0 card user who got the card, swiped it 5 times a month, got points on rent, never touched it again, or they're putting minimum spend on their Bilt card is 100% getting the short end of the stick here. And for the majority of people in that camp, and if you feel like you're in this camp, I strongly recommend you guys get out there and vote with your wallet. Don't give Bilt any more business. And definitely do not get any of the Bilt 2.0 cards. Because frankly, at the end of the day, if you're in this camp, these new cards, they're not worth your time. Remember, in 2022, everybody paid for their rent. Now, we didn't get any points for it then, but it doesn't matter. We were all fine with it, right? And so, instead of getting this Bilt Obsidian card that's gonna earn you 3x on dining, 2x on travel, get the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Instead of the Bilt Palladium card that earns you 2x everywhere, get the Venture X. Because Chase and Capital One both are offering you cards with the exact same earnings. And the bonus on top of that is there is no complicated math to determine whether or not you're getting the rent points and the mortgage points and then the 75% of spending and the Bilt cash and the transfer and all of that. All of it gone out the window because the Chase and the Capital One cards don't have any feature to earn points on rent and mortgage. At the end of the day, as a consumer, if we are presented with a subpar product that does not offer us any value, then we should 1000% take out our wallets and vote with it and avoid that product altogether. Right. But what if I spend some money each month? I just don't think I can spend all of the money to get all of the points. That's a little bit tougher to answer. And my response to that would be, is some points from mortgage and rent better than 0 points? That's gonna be up to you. Now, if you stick around, I'm gonna use a sample card to break down and you can determine whether this is a go or no go. Wait, before that, what's your take on all this? Okay, but I need to use a sample card to explain it first. Well, I don't have time. Just give it to me in one sentence. Fine, one sentence. I hate how complicated the new Bilt card makes points from mortgage and rents to understand, explain, and earn. However, if you spend any amount of money outside of mortgage and rent on a credit card, then with this card, there is only upside potential to capture with minimal to no downside penalties by using Bilt. Bro, that was 100% a run-on sentence. And you're saying 0 downside? No way. Listen, this is John's Finance Tips. Grammar? Who's that? But you tell me, what's the downside? The downside is obvious. I don't get my points from mortgage and rent if I don't spend money on this new Bilt card. Okay, but did you ever have those points to begin with? I mean, who else besides Bilt even thought of the idea of giving us a chance to earn points on mortgage and rent without paying a transaction fee? No, but this isn't fair. Agreed. It's not fair that there's only one credit card company that lets us earn points on mortgage and rent because the other one went bankrupt within a year after giving away points on mortgage for free. Who? Mesa. They gave everybody points for their mortgage. All you had to do was sign up, tell them how much you pay every single month for a mortgage, spend $1,000 on the Mesa card every month, and they just gave it to you automatically. And the best thing about Mesa points, just like Bilt points, you could transfer them to airline partners and hotels. Well, that sounds too good to be true. And that's why they're out of business. All right, do you want my full breakdown or not? Fine, fine. So explain how all this is gonna work. Okay, so now I'm gonna walk you through the Bilt card I got, or I'd rather pre-ordered, and you're gonna be able to figure out whether or not this new card, or rather any of the cards, are gonna make sense for you or not. Sign-up bonus. The Bilt Palladium will earn a sign-up bonus of 50,000 points after you spend $4,000 within the first 3 months. You'll also get Gold Elite status for the year, as well as $300 of Bilt Cash. And this Bilt Cash can be redeemed dollar for dollar in the Bilt neighborhood ecosystem. At least that's how I see it. So for things like Lyft credits, hotel bookings, fitness classes, this isn't an exhaustive list. I'll put it on the screen of what else you can use it for. But in addition, Bilt Cash is one of the ways in which you can use to redeem for the points that you earn from mortgages and rent. The other thing I want you guys to note is a sign-up bonus for Bilt. Very rare. That has never happened. In fact, this is the first time ever. And if I had to bet on it, it's going sooner rather than later. And even though it's not the highest sign-up bonus, these points are worth a heck of a ton. So I would definitely keep this top of mind. Earnings. This card will earn 2x on all purchases. It's not the highest, but by far the easiest, and 2x is right on par with some of the industry leaders, such as the Capital One Venture X. And a quick pro tip, if this 2x catch-all isn't enough, what I actually recommend is taking something like this card, the Bilt Palladium or the Venture X, which does 2x, and stacking it on top of some sort of cashback portal or a higher rewards portal. One that I've been using is called Rove Miles, and what they do is they could let you earn up to, I think it's like 50 or 60x on some hotel bookings. And so all you do is you go on, right? The Bilt card is gonna earn you your 2x everywhere, great. And then Rove is gonna kick in an additional 5x, 10x, up to 50x for some hotel bookings. And the beautiful thing about Rove Miles is the fact that they're also transferable to airlines as well. In fact, one example, you could actually fly from North America over to Germany on Lufthansa for 88 miles. Insane. The problem, nobody transfers to Lufthansa except for Rove Miles. Now, Rove Miles, 100% free to use. Go ahead, all you do is make an account. And right now, there's like a public bonus where you can get 500 miles for making an account. I actually was able to get an exclusive from them for 1,500 Rove Miles just for signing up. And you can do the math on how many 88-mile trips that is over to Europe. So if you're interested, I do have a link in the description box down below. Go ahead and check it out. And as for the earnings on mortgage and rent, there's actually gonna be 2 options. So the first option allows you to earn up to 1.25x on all mortgage and rent spend. There is no no cap on the total number of points you can earn, and there is no transaction fee. Option 2. This allows you to earn 4% back as all Bilt cash on all purchases. In addition, you can earn up to 1x on all mortgage and rent spend. Again, there is not going to be a cap on the number of points that you can earn, and there is not going to be any transaction fee. And in the next section, I'm going to break down exactly how these two options shake out and kind of which one makes sense for whoever. In addition, both of these options are available across all of the Bilt cards, so the Blue as well as the Obsidian. Now let's talk about benefits. First benefit is being able to earn points for paying your mortgage and rent. And here we're going to talk about first the mechanism of how that works, and then the math of option 1 and option 2. So the mechanism of how you're going to earn points on mortgage and rent is pretty straightforward. So you can either pay for mortgage and rent using the Bilt app straight through there, or you can go to your apartment building's website or the mortgage lender's website, and if they have a native integration with Bilt, there's just going to be a kind of a pay with Bilt option. You pay there, you're good to go. Let's say though your landlord isn't on there and it doesn't really work for them, well, you can still have Bilt cut a check on your behalf. You can still use Venmo, you can still use PayPal, and again, you're going to still be able to capture those points on rent, and there's no transaction fee whatsoever. And mechanistically, how it works on the back end is you're going to link your bank account with Bilt, and so it's going to apply from the bank account to whether it's going to be your landlord or your mortgage lender. Personally, I think this is great for the 2.0 card, because in the 1.0 card, that charge for rent actually went against some people's credit limit. So if you had a $5,000 credit limit, you had $3,000 worth of rent, that's a huge credit utilization. That's actually a net negative for your credit score. However, it turns out a lot of people actually did like to do that, and they were able to float their rent, I guess, which I didn't realize was a thing. And so Bilt, as of the filming of this video, it sounds like they're working on something to try to bring that back so it does hit your credit limit. Personally, I just wouldn't do that. I don't want to have a credit utilization of 50, 70, 80% every single month, because credit utilization accounts for 30% of your credit score. If that thing is high, that's bad for your overall credit score. But it's nice that Bilt at least heard people's feedback and they're working on something. Now, it's not out as of me recording this video right now today, and so if it is, I'll comment down below kind of how it changes. But for right now, its bank account is linked, applies the payment, you get the points, no transaction fees whatsoever. And even if they bring it back so that it hits your credit limit, there's still not going to be any transaction fee when you go ahead and pay for your mortgage and or rent. Now let's talk about the math portion of this, and specifically difference between option 1 and option 2. So in option 1, you can earn up to 1.25x on your mortgage and rent spend. And specifically, how it works is as such. You must spend a certain percentage of your housing spend every single month as non-housing spend. And if you're able to successfully do that, then you get those points that you earn deposited into your account proportionally. And so if you spend 25% of housing as non-housing, you earn 0.5x points. If you spend 50%, you get 0.75x points. If you spend 75%, you will get 1x points. And if you spend 100%, you would get 1.25x points. As an example, let's say your rent was $1,000 a month. If you spend $250 in non-rent, you get 500 points. If you spent $500 as non-rent spending, you would get 750 points. If you spent $750 as non-rent spending, you'd get the full 1,000 points. And if you went ahead and spent $1,000 as non-housing spend, you would get 1,250 points. And a few disclaimers about this. 1, this is spend that has to be done every single month, and so it resets. The second is these are gates, and so if you spend 25%, you'll earn 0.5x. But if you spend 28%, you would still only get 0.5x. And this is the only option that lets you actually earn more than 1x for rent and mortgage, though of course you have to spend proportionally more. Now let's talk about the math behind option 2. This was actually the original Bilt 2.0 update, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty complicated. So I'm gonna break it down into what I see as the kind of the hard math, and then we'll talk about the simple math. And so with option 2, you remember, you're gonna earn 4% back as Bilt cash every single purchase, and you're gonna get up to 1x on mortgage and rent spend. And so with the hard math, let's also use a rent example of $1,000. So that means you could potentially unlock $1,000 of points from rent. Now, to get those points from rent deposit into your account, you must exchange Bilt cash. And this is at an exchange ratio of $30 Bilt cash for 1,000 Bilt points. And to get the $30 of Bilt cash, remember this card earns 4% back as Bilt cash on every single purchase. So we take $30 Bilt cash, divide that by 4%, and we see that we have to spend $750. And so this is the amount of money that must be spent to get the Bilt cash, and then we could take the Bilt cash and then exchange for all of the points that we have from rent and mortgage. Now, the simple math behind that is simply just spending up to 75% of your housing spend as non-housing spend. So $1,000 rent, 75% of that is $750. So if you spend up to $750, then you're gonna get that full 1,000 points deposit. Keeping in mind though, that's just the math. The mechanism still requires you to, right, get the Bilt cash, convert the Bilt cash, and get the points. Now, a couple disclaimers for this second option. The first is that it's a sliding scale. Unlike the first option where there was particular gates you had to hit minimums for option 2, the more you spend, the more Bilt cash you earn, and the more Bilt cash you earn, the more that you can redeem, but there's no minimum redemption. Meaning even though it's $30 Bilt cash for 1,000 Bilt points, that just means it's $3 Bilt cash for 100 Bilt points. That means and you can keep going lower and lower. And so literally you could have $1 of Bilt cash and still convert it to the proportionate Bilt points. And so if you spend $375, that will unlock proportion number of Bilt cash, and that would unlock 500 points. The second disclaimer, Bilt cash can be stacked, meaning you don't have to spend this amount of money every single month to earn the Bilt cash and then redeem it. If let's say you had a massive purchase in January of $7,500, well, you would get $300 worth of Bilt cash, and that Bilt cash can be used anytime throughout the year. Now let's talk about option 1 versus option 2. Option 1 is the new one that introduced because option 2 was complicated. I 100% agree. Option 1 is dead simple. If you spend, then you get Bilt points sent to your account. In addition, you can get up to 1.25x, which we've never seen before for rent and mortgage. But the categories are gated, meaning if you don't hit a certain threshold, you can't get that entire multiple. In addition, you must do this spend every single month. As for option 2, this is a sliding scale earnings, meaning if you spend 33%, then you're gonna get the proportionate number of points. In addition, you don't have to hit the spend every single month. You can have massive spends in which you collect a ton of Bilt cash, and then you might be covered for a couple of months. But you still need to remember to use the Bilt cash mechanism to get the points for mortgage and rent deposit. In addition, you can only earn up to 1x total for rent and mortgage. You can't go over that. And as for which method is best, I actually don't know. This one does have me stumped because I like the idea of option 1 going up to 1.25x. I hate the idea though of having to hit that spend every single month. On the second one, it's great if I had a bunch of big spend. Hey, just throw it on my Bilt card, I have a bunch of Bilt cash, I could use it whenever throughout the year, but I can't go over 1x earnings on it. So I actually don't know. I might play around with it. And we've been told that you can change, so it's not permanent. So you go in the app, you pick whether you want option 1 or option 2, and you can change back and forth. So I'd say go in, play around, and see which one works out for you. The next benefit is this card offers transfer partners, but they don't offer transfer partners like everyone else. They have Flying Blue, they have Air Canada, but they also have Alaska Airlines and Japan Airlines. Nobody transfers to these programs. I've said it previously, I think, but this year I'm going to Japan. I'm flying Japan Airlines. I'm flying there in business class. I redeemed for 50,000 Japan Airlines miles. Nobody transfers to Japan Airlines except Bilt. And so I take, honestly, it could be this sign-up bonus, take it, transfer to Japan Airlines, make the booking, I'm good to go. And the best part about booking Japan Airlines business on Japan Airlines, the availability is actually pretty good when you go out 10, 11 months. The next benefit is rent day. And so for as long as I remember Bilt, on rent day, which is the first of the month, they come out with some bonuses. Every now and then we get a large transfer bonus of going as high as 100%, which is pretty insane. Actually in December, I think they just ran one, 100% to British Airways. In addition, on rent days, you get bonuses like status matches. Hyatt's Elite Status, which is globalist. I got it for the first time 2 years ago because of a Bilt status match to Hyatt. I've been globalist ever since. They also had one to Accor, though I missed out on that one, kind of a bummer. So rent days, absolutely love them. They also double your earning on certain categories. You could win free rent on the rent trivia. And you could book for some experiences in the Bilt neighborhood ecosystem. Another benefit is Bilt will actually report your rent to the credit bureaus. And so that's kind of like, not another credit limit per se, but it just basically helps boost your credit score saying, hey, look, John is responsible. He pays his rent every single month. If you want that service, you can actually go buy it for yourself for 50 bucks. With any of the Bilt cards, there's a $0 one. You can just flip it on and there you go. Your rent is now being reported, and if you're paying on time, it's a positive benefit to your overall credit score. There's a ton of flexible uses for the Bilt points. Obviously I talked about the transfer partners, but you can redeem it on Amazon, you can redeem it for rent, you can use it for gift cards. Though I wouldn't recommend it, the redemption rate's not great, but if you have a ton and there is a use case for it, by all means. The Bilt Palladium will give you a $400 hotel credit every single year that you can use to book for hotels through the Bilt travel portal as $200 in the first half, $200 in the second half. Caveat on this one is there has to be 2-night minimum bookings. The card will also give you $200 of Bilt cash every single year just for having the card. Not an exhaustive list of all the ways to use Bilt points. I'll throw up a list on the screen you'll be able to see here, but just as an example. The card also provides Priority Pass lounge membership. And if you are not familiar with airport lounges, they're a place that you go to the airport, you kick back, free booze, free food, day beds, showers, massages. Yeah, I've literally had one in Bangkok, which is kind of crazy, at an airport lounge for free from my credit card. The card offers trip delay protection starting at 6 hours for $300. And the card also offers this thing called price drop protection, which is pretty unique. And so if you purchase an item and the item drops in price anywhere from $25 to $250, you can actually file a claim for that difference back. You can file a total of 4 claims within 12 months. Now let's talk about the annual fee. This card does come with a $495 annual fee. But remember, you got the $200 of Bilt cash every single year. And if you don't use it for the points on the rent and the mortgage, you could just take that and use it for lift credits, which I think is probably the easiest use case. And so that knocks it to an effective annual fee of $295. Now there is a $400 hotel credit, but the 2-night minimum makes it a little bit stickier to use. If you are able to take advantage of it, this card could in effect allow you to pocket $105. Though if you're not able to take advantage of it, effectively you're paying $295 for the card. Now we'll go over the verdict and recommendations. First, we'll talk about the Bilt Palladium, and then we'll talk about the Bilt 2.0 cards as an aggregate. So the Bilt Palladium, if you heard or understood nothing from the last couple minutes on this video, just appreciate the fact that this is the first and only Bilt credit card to offer a sign-up bonus of Bilt points. Guys, this hasn't happened ever. I don't know how long it's gonna stick around. This is a situation where it's I get the card and then I ask questions later. And I'm sure you could see with my example with the Japan Airlines flight that this bonus could be enough to get you to Japan in business one way. Now, the base case for this card, it's a 2X card, which means it replaces my Venture X and now becomes my daily driver for everything else. And where I mostly spend is gonna be on flights and eating, whether it's grocery or dining out. I have those covered, and so everything else now lands on this card. My upside case for this card, by paying my mortgage through Bilt and using the Palladium, I now have the opportunity to get points for that mortgage payment. Whereas using a Venture X, that opportunity did not exist. And so overall, this is a card I'm absolutely recommending folks to jump on, because even if we take out the mortgage and rent thing, as a 2X card, I take Bilt points over Capital One points all day. As a card for the first time ever giving a Bilt sign-up bonus, though it's not the biggest bonus ever. We have Chase and Capital One American Express giving 75, 125, up to 175,000 points. This is the first one from Bilt, and I am taking Bilt points any given day. I'm moving them to Alaska, I'm moving them to Japan Airlines, and I'm having a ball with it. And then guess what? I come back in a year and I figure out, hey, do I want to keep the card? Do I want to downgrade? Do I want a product change? Don't sleep on that. And then you layer on the potential upside on capturing mortgage and rent, assuming you spend on the card. I mean, this card at the end of the day is a lock for me. Now my verdict and recommendations for the Bilt 2.0 cards as a whole. And we're gonna look at it through the lens of 4 groups of people. The first group is gonna be the Bilt 1.0 card members today. Specifically the folks who got the card, swiped it 5 times every single month, and never used it for anything else and got their points on rent. Sadly, guys, I kind of looked at it as many angles as I can, and unfortunately, this is gonna be the end of the road for you. I don't think you're ever going to be able to earn points for rent as easily as you once did in the past. And as for alternatives, one route you guys could go down if you wanted to get your points on rent and mortgage, you can make an account with this company. It's called Plastic or Plastique. And what you do is you go on, you load in your credit card, and Plastic will send a check to your landlord or to your mortgage lender. And you use the credit card to fund it, and so you get the credit card points and you pay for your mortgage and rent. The only thing is, I think there's a transaction fee for using that credit card, and so it's 2.9%. Another method is if your landlord takes Venmo, you can Venmo them using a credit card, and so Venmo will go ahead and just charge you a 3% transaction fee. And to offset it, you could use like a 2X card. I mean, heck, you could use the Bilt Palladium. Obviously, we don't want to be spending money with Bilt if we're no longer a customer. And so we could do Venture X with the 2X, or you could do like a Citi double cash, 2% cash back to offset the transaction fee you're paying for using your credit card to pay for your mortgage and rent. And so with that calculus, you have to determine, okay, is it worth it to pay that delta of a transaction fee for the points I'm getting from these particular banks or for the cash back? And if all of that is kind of annoying, I mean, the best bet for you guys is just kind of go back to how things were in 2022. I mean, hey, that was pre-inflation days, or crazy inflation rather. Pay for your rent using a checking account. There's no transaction fee, you don't get any points for it, but you don't have to worry about any complicated math with the Bilt cash and the points and the conversions and using a credit card outside of just paying for your housing. I think that's the easiest bet. And again, like I said earlier, right, guys, vote with your wallet. This doesn't make sense for you. Let them know it. And the other thing to keep in mind, I think in the Bilt app, it's gonna ask you whether or not you wanna upgrade your card or whatever the case may be. I think you can decline it and just keep the card as it's getting moved over into a Wells Fargo card. So if you don't want that, I think you can select in the app that you don't want the Wells Fargo card either. If this is an early on card for you, I would maybe keep the credit line open with Wells Fargo, but again, just make sure you go ahead and check all that off. The second group of users are current Bilt 1.0 card members and potential new 2.0 card members who spend money on a credit card outside of just mortgage and rent. And for you guys, the ball is in your court. The one thing you want to consider is, do you want a chance to earn some points for doing something you already have to do every single month, which is paying for your rent and mortgage? If yes, and you're like, hey, maybe I want to just dip my toes in, don't want to full send with that $400 a year card, you could get the Bilt Blue, $0 annual fee. Or you could get the Bilt Obsidian as a replacement to your Chase Sapphire Preferred with the upside potential of earning points on rent and mortgage. But if you're like, it doesn't really make sense because yeah, I pay for my mortgage and rent, but then I kind of spend a lot of money on flights here and a lot of money on hotels and a lot of money on travel, and these earnings categories are way more elevated and I really don't spend any other money, then totally doesn't make sense, right? We've got cards like the Venture X, the Chase Sapphire Preferred. We've got even the Platinum with the 5X on the hotels, giving an all-time high bonus going as high as 175,000 points. And so I would just steer in that way. There's no change whatsoever. If you're a current member, you just go back to 2022. If you're a new potential member, well, nothing really changes. You just have kind of other credit cards you want to keep track of instead of this one card to put all of your non-housing spend on, if that makes sense. Third group of people. For anyone with a mortgage, get the card. Yes, it's complicated, but I will take complicated and getting rewarded for an activity I have to do every single month, any day of the week, over not complicated, but not getting rewarded for doing an activity I have to do every single month. In the fourth group of people, high earners and high spenders. Guys, jump on this card. You saw the Fatfire subreddit. This person could not believe they could earn over 600,000 Bilt points by using the Bilt Palladium as their 2x catch-all daily driver. I mean, this card is geared for you. In fact, I don't really think I've ever seen a card, talking about the Palladium specifically, that's been geared towards high spenders. Like, sure, you have the American Express Platinum, but like, you spend more, you don't necessarily get more. Like, yes, you get more in the sense that you earn more points, but by being a high spender and high earner, like you have a big mortgage, you have multiple mortgages, and then you spend a ton, I mean, all of that compounds to getting you the most valuable points currency and getting rewarded for having the mortgage. So in net of it, this is pretty much a no-brainer for you guys to jump on as well. And that is the video. Folks, Bilt 2.0 is very fast moving. I'm sure by the time I publish this, there's gonna be more updates. So I'll put it description box down there if there's any changes to what I've said. Though I hope I've helped shed some light for your go versus no-go decision on whether or not you wanna come to this card. I will say, 100%. It absolutely sucks. We're never gonna see a card like the 1.0 card again, where people can come on, swipe it 5 times, not use it for anything, get points on rent. Though, I will say, it might be nice for some folks who was like, hey, you know what? If you're a 1.0 card user and that is what you used it for, you now no longer have to juggle this rent credit card, right? Like, you simplify your portfolio. So you go back to paying for rent how you always have in 2022, get no points for it, but you don't have to worry about any sort of complicated math. It makes it a lot simpler for you. So maybe this is kind of a blessing in disguise in that sense. And for everyone else though, it's kind of a figuring out of, all right, do I want to come and capture some upside potential? I spend a little more, I get a little bit more points. I don't spend, I don't get any points. Comments, questions down there, and let me know. I'm curious. Are you a 1.0 customer and are you, that's it, canceling Bilt, never touching them again? Are you a 1.0 customer? You're maybe thinking of switching. Are you a new customer? Are you that guy from the Fatfire subreddit? Let me know down there. And if you're interested in any cards, the link is description box as well. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.